Brodes Media.
The playoffs are different. Style points don't matter. The way you win and how it looks, it doesn't always tell the full story. Do I believe that's the passing game we are going to get every single time they play in the playoffs? No. The fact that they could win when you have a passing game so ugly is what separates you from most. Because there's not many teams out there that get a second chance when your offense struggles to move the ball with all of those turnovers. That's not the norm. Your quarterback, too, is probably, knowing the passing game isn't working and clicking as well as you would like, probably forcing issues, probably putting the ball in harm's way to try to do everything in their power to make something happen when it might not necessarily be there. That's not what Jalen does, and that's part of his IQ that needs to be highlighted big time. You may not like it, but it's the truth. I bet you 85% of younger quarterbacks try to do way more than they should when things aren't working as beautifully as you want them to, because you want to fix them and you want to be part of the solution, and you want that to be a narrative that changes is, hey, I can thread the needle. Hey, I can pass 50-yard bombs. Hey, my passing game isn't terrible. Shut the fuck up. And then that leads to a couple of interceptions and some ugly turnovers. You don't get that from Jalen. And while it is not pretty, I think this is what you need to know on top of the playoffs looking differently. Wins, physicality, toughness. The game changes this time of the year, and you're not really going to see this magical, insane, just beautiful, no mistakes style of football. That's not what January is all about for the most part. It's going to get awkward. It's going to get rough. Teams are going to have answers. Then it's on you to answer their answers, and bang, 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 bang. You're going back and forth. Your defense, you may have to coach through your defense. And you may hear that and instantly go, well, that's not going to work. Not true. I think we live in an era, and it's starting to change more now that you see the contract given to Saquon, Josh Jacobs, who was definitely a nice move for the Packers, and you just see the way teams are more willing to run the rock with Derrick Henry in Baltimore, Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers. There is an element where it's not as, hey, let's just move the ball in the air 24/7 and only focus on the passing game. It's starting to move full circle again. I also believe that you can be dangerous and you can win a Super Bowl because of your defense being the team's brand. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl with Spags' defense, and because Pat Mahomes has a history of lethal play, you remember Pat Mahomes, and he did stuff in timely fashion, and he made plays when needed, hobbling with one leg. And I'm not going to forget those plays that he made. You don't win the Super Bowl without Spags in that defense. You just don't. I don't think it's ludicrous to enter the divisional round thinking the defense is what is going to carry us. And if you shift your mentality to that, I believe it can do wonders. The passing game won't be that hideous every time. They can provide more, and I expect them to provide more. You can't get A.J. Brown one reception. You can't barely target A.J. Brown and look more in Jahan Dotson's way. So they will clean that up, and they will make sure that A.J. has a chance to take over more so than what we just watched Sunday afternoon. That doesn't mean, though, that you can't lean on your defense to be your bread and butter. For the most part, when you watch teams go, They have something about them that makes them unique, that gives them an advantage, that is their strength. And I think we're so blinded by it normally being, hey, you're good because you have player X and Y. And player X and Y happens to live on the offensive side of the ball, and you're able to produce offensively and win because you can score 35 points in a game to win. Well, what if we hold you to 12? What if we hold you to 17? What if our juggernaut, right, our force that we are, what if it's instead of, wow, the Philadelphia Eagles are so mind-numbingly elite because they can score 40, and Ben Johnson is so creative and so savvy, all they do is dial up this great 30-yard bomb downfield whenever they need it, on clutch third downs, on big fourth downs when they grab their nutsack and go, and they have the attitude that we will shove the ball down your throat and open up plays with play action, and it's going to be crazy. All right, that's sexiness. We just have it on our defense, and what's the problem if that's the case? By the way, another running team, the Detroit Lions, with their two-back system. So the nature of it's all changing. I don't think we need to be as glued to it needs to be so amazing in the passing game. It needs to be better in the passing game. It doesn't have to be so amazing, because what we provide that other teams can't provide is a defense that can hold you to under 20 points. A defense that can hold you to under 17 points. That's the difference. You got to move forward with the realization that this team operates through their defense. And while you may have never thought in a billion years like that was going to be the way that it went, it doesn't matter. It's the truth. And it sets you up where you can win a championship with a defense this good, with a quarterback that doesn't turn the rock over, and a running back that was on a historic pace to be the best running back in NFL regular season history, with the best offensive line in the league. It's a recipe that works. Because I heard it all today. Jalen this, Jalen that. Jalen's holding this team back. This, that, the third. You have the best offensive line in the league. You have the best running back in the league. You have the best defense in the league. That can win a Super Bowl. It doesn't mean you can't criticize certain areas of the team. I look at it differently, though. I say, how many squads can win a game when it was that rough, where for 2 quarters you can't even complete a pass? After starting the game off hot as hell, hitting Dotson in the back of the end zone, completing 100% of your passes, what are the odds when it flips so dramatically? You have timely drives whenever you need it. Here's Green Bay scoring. Here's the Eagles scoring. Here's the Eagles needing a 7+ minute drive in the fourth quarter to suck half the quarter off the board. They do. And they go up 2 possessions while they're at it. It's a big deal. Now, Dan Orlovsky made his way all over ESPN this morning, watching the film and giving plenty of examples on how the design and the concepts of these plays had nowhere for Jalen to go. And this is where I'm conflicted with that. When you can't get a completion in the passing game for a billion minutes of the action, I got to imagine it's more than just concepts. That's too long. You're saying there's not ever a play where someone is open? At the same time, going that long without any completions, doesn't there have to be something fundamentally wrong for you not to accidentally get a completion? And he showed a bunch of different examples of how Green Bay knew where all the routes were, guys were covered, and you know, the defender was on him like sticky glue, whatever the hell it's called. A hot glue gun, sticky, stuck to him. I don't know what I'm looking for. Screen pass, no chance. Looking for AJ, no chance. Devontae covered, no chance. I believe that gives Jalen a cop-out. I'm not really that thrilled with Kellen Moore. I think he's fine. I don't think he's guru. So if Mike McCarthy, who did leave Dallas, ends up going to Chicago or any other spot in the league, and Dallas wants to pick up Kellen Moore for a spot, well, go ahead. I don't need Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore has underwhelmed more than he has overwhelmed me with some of the stuff he dials up. I think he's fine, though. I think he's an NFL offensive coordinator. In a way, I almost feel, and by no means do I think he's Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio's been around forever. But Vic Fangio is just a solid, sound DC who can survive in this league for years and years and years as a good, structured defensive coordinator. And you're in a good spot when he's there, for the most part. He's had a lot of different stops and a lot of different ups and downs throughout that process. He had a chance to have the big headset on, but he's a good DC. I wouldn't be shocked if Kellen Moore was a good, long-tenured offensive coordinator in this league, but I don't think he brings the wow factor either. How much of that is Jalen Hurts holds him back from things he wants to do? That opens up a whole nother discussion. I did watch him go under center, drop back, make a beautiful throw to Devontae Smith for about 10, 11-yard gain for the first down as he pulls Devontae Smith out of bounds, moves the chains nicely, and Tom Brady was raving about that one. Oh, man, this is what you see at the combine. This is what the guys who review the tape and all the scouts at the combine want to see, and not many guys can make that throw. And Jalen, boom, did it under center perfectly. Mwah. So do with that information what you will. To summarize this first portion of the show here, though, as I went many different ways down weird paths, it's okay to commit to the defense being who you are, the defense setting the tone, and winning games because your defense is playing at an unbelievable level. Look, they're not just stopping teams. This is insanity. I mean, they're turning the ball over with 3 interceptions. I heard Ruben Frank bring it up. The last time they had an interception in the postseason was Cravon LeBlanc. My man, ski-mask Cravon, in the game against the New Orleans Saints when Alshon Jeffrey dropped that pass from Nick Foles where we thought we had another miracle journey in us. And then in this game, we get 3. You're creating 3. Not 1. You know how big 1 turnover is in a playoff game? See, the Jalen Hurts haters wouldn't take his Super Bowl performance 2 years ago because he had 1 turnover. Yet in this game, it was rough. Doesn't turn the ball over at all, still keeps the team in good positions and has timely drives that mattered. And now turnovers aren't viewed the same way. Why? If you felt that turnover is what destroyed the Super Bowl and you're throwing away all of those incredible passes and him balling out and outperforming and outdueling Pat Mahomes in 2022, when you throw that all away because the 1 turnover hurt them, then you have to keep that same energy and importance on turnovers in games when he doesn't have them. Because he was ugly throwing the ball, no turnover, still puts the team in a position to win. Not every quarterback does that. I'm telling you, they force things. They want to be a part of the solution. Then they start doing some uncharacteristic stuff, and now you're definitely putting your team in harm's way.